Hello my dear chess friends, this is International Master Camila Ciobanu and I welcome you on my YouTube channel even with this new video in which I'm going to talk about the pair of bishops. And I have titled this video course the two archers, chess archers, because I like to see the bishops as archers because they can attack from a very long way. And let's take as an illustration this position. I have played a blitz game, a 3-minute blitz game yesterday, and I got into this position. I was playing as black, and obviously I've got a tremendous advantage with one bishop and 2 pawns up. And the beauty about this position is specifically the presence of my two archers, the pair of bishops. And we can see that they are both pointing toward white's castle, and even the light squared bishop is pinning the pawn on g2, and this means that the pawn on h3 is not defended. So I have brought my queen on a very strategic position so that now it's my turn in this moment, and so I can just take the pawn with a check. I think I didn't set black to move. Okay, so I can check, and he just went back, and I can simply reposition the other bishop on the diagonal, on the open diagonal, so they are both pointing toward the castle, and white can't defend. Therefore he just resigned, because at the next move I will simply take the knight with my queen, and that would be a checkmate. So let's see the initial position. So now I have played queen takes h3, knight h2, bishop e5, and I won. Beautiful. Let's have a look on a different position that is quite similar on some aspects. So this is from the game played by Oleksienko as white against Hofhannisyan. I'm sorry about the pronunciation. And black is to move. We can still see the two archers pointing toward the castle. So the pair of bishops is considered to be a very strong match, and of course when the position is open. So if we have the pair of bishops, we should try to open the position. Okay, so how is black going to attack the king? We should use both bishops. Well, one bishop is pinning the knight, and we can use the rook that is well ahead, even on the first rank, and also the queen. Black has 4 potential attackers, and the secret here is to attract the king on a bad position. Therefore black can sacrifice the rook, so white can only take with the king. He will be forced to do so. And finally black takes on h3 check, because the pawn is pinned. Can you see the similarity between this position and mine? And after king g1, black simply takes on g2, and that is a checkmate. So let's see it again. Starting from this position, we can see that the bishops are pointing toward the castle, and we would like to attract the king on a bad spot. Therefore black sacrifices the rook, so when the king moves there, the pawn on g2 remains pinned, so the queen can enter the attack, and then finally checkmate. Wonderful. So we saw 2 middle game positions in which the pair of bishops made all the difference, because there were the checkmate threats that could not be countered. Let's also see an endgame in which the pair of bishops is on the fianchetto position. I like to call it the slingshot. And let's see what is the technique in order to checkmate black's king. So we could start with moving the king up. It is very important to bring the king close to the opponent's king and take the opposition. And when the king will move away, now the direction of the bishops should be again one next to the other in order to control all the squares of two diagonals, a white diagonal and a black diagonal, and so the king cannot escape. Okay, he cannot pass through these squares that are controlled by the bishops. Okay, so the king moves to e7, let's say. So we will follow the king with our king, and then we should make sure that we restrict the area of movement for black's king, and so even more. We just go forward, and then finally, once the king is on the border, we will simply take away his escaping squares. Can you see that now the bishops are one next to the other all the time, like holding hands? Okay, so the two bishops are pushing the king in one of the corners. It doesn't matter which one. Finally, the king moves out of the way of the long diagonal so that black's king will always have only one square available to move back and forth. And finally, the checkmate comes, even with two bishops in the center. That is so beautiful. So let's start from the beginning. We said we take the opposition, and then simply we can approach the king and then go forward with our king. The two bishops should limit the access of black's king toward one side or the other. Okay, and finally, when the king is forced to remain on the border, the bishops will take all the escaping squares one by one. Finally, we leave one square available for the king, and then we make sure that we check and then checkmate. Can you see? Many times it can be dangerous. Pay attention not to get the king into a stalemate. Okay, so we saw how to even checkmate the king in the endgame with two bishops. So I hope you liked this video, and I'll wait for you in our next ones. Have a great day.